Today we would be talking about the essay Forgetting by Robert Lynd. In this essay, he talks of various things which people tend to forget. And at the same point of time, he talks of things which people do not forget. In fact, he says the same people may forget certain things, but same people may not forget certain things. And he begins with his essay with list of things which people do not forget. And very interestingly, he tells you things which he picks those things which are never forgotten by people. And he says people do not forget the names of celebrities, names of film actresses and actors, and very interestingly they never forget their lunch dates or their dinner dates, or the places where they visit for lunch and dinner. And they do not forget the names of their favorite cricketers, names of footballers. And people are so much interested in certain incidents or certain news which are related to crime or names of murderers, and they do not forget their own dresses or their list of their clothes, and they do not forget even locking the doors while they are leaving the house. So these things are so much imprinted in their minds, or they are so much of their own interest that they do not forget these things. But at the same point of time, people tend to forget post letters. Now posting letter becomes a very tedious task for the people. Even if it is their own letter, they tend to forget it. And if it is someone else's letter which they are assigned to post, they would naturally forget it. They do not like to stand in long queues to post that letter. They do not like to answer the questions, the queries which are related to the letter. So these things are usually forgotten by people. Some people think it is the old generation or old people who forget things. But Robert Lane very interestingly tells you that most of the things which are left in trains are left by young people who are sports person, or who are anglers, or who are always dreaming of some goal, or who are dreaming of some good match or some good catch. So they are forgetting their balls, their cricket bats, their fishing rods in trains. So most of these things are forgotten by people who belong to young generation, and not people who are older. And it is expected of them that they have not such a sharp memory, and they may forget things. Now Robert Lynn says, I doubt it would be found that absent-mindedness is common. It is the efficiency rather than inefficiency of human memory that compels my wonder. Now, efficiency is that the efficiency to remember things, in and inefficiency which makes you not to remember things. He says human mind is quite efficient enough to remember things, and when human mind wants to remember it. But when the human mind does not want to remember it, it does not remember. So these are two aspects which he brings to your notice. And then he says people tend to forget taking medicines, and they forget even when it is very necessary for them. They are interested in taking medicine, and it is prescribed. They have a scheduled time for that, and still they forget it, and chemists make money out of it. Certain psychologists also tell us that we forget things because we wish to forget them, and it may be that it is because of their antipathy to pills and potions that many people fail to remember them at the appointed hours. And then he talks of other things which make a younger generation forget certain things, because yeah, a younger generation, when they are thinking about their dreams, or when they're thinking about their favorite sport, they are or English, they are daydreaming. They are living in some world which is a dream world, which would in a way complete or fulfill all their dreams. So they have most of the dreams yet left, and old people have still have little dreams. So maybe due to that, old people are more punctual, or they are more conscious, and they do not leave things in trains, or they do not even leave their luggages, or they do not leave balls or anything, but they do leave umbrellas, they do leave books, and these are the things which are left by most of the people, whether young or old. So these things which are observed by Robert Lind, it's a very minute observation, because these things, books and umbrellas, are very common, or are frequently forgotten things by people. Then he says, he talks that it is not expected of Coleridge or Socrates that they would be remembering posting letters, because they have great wisdom, or they have great intellectual power, but they do not want to waste, or they do not have a capacity, or they do not have a mindset to indulge, or to take care of posting a letter, a small thing as that. And they are expected to do some big things, or they are expected to have their intellect or memory for greater things in life. But he says, at the same point of time, remembering everything is not necessary. And it would be like, for young people, memories may prevent them from remembering to do such small things, or just as they cannot remember taking back their bats or balls. But absent mindedness, in a way, is not very bad idea, or it's not a very bad habit. Because the absent minded man is often a man who is making the best of life, and therefore has no time to remember the mediocre. Who would who have trusted, I have already said, who would have trusted Socrates and Coleridge with posting of a letter? These souls were above these things. So in a way, a man, they say, who is a perfect at remembering is a machine, and he is not a man. He is seldom a man of the first intelligence. And they quote various cases of children or men who have marvelous memories, and who yet had no intellect to speak of. He says memories and intellect, they may combine, they may not combine. It's not necessary a person with good memory may be very intellectual. It's not necessary a person with little memory or more memory would always be very intelligent. So combination of good memory and intelligence may be there, may not be there. So but it is not a set formula that there would always be a combination of the two. And then Robert Lynn says that at the same time, ordinarily good memory is so common that we regard a man who does not possess it as eccentric. Now he gives a very humorous example, and he says that a man was carrying his child in a pram, and on his way, he saw a public house, and stopped there for a glass of beer, and leaving the child outside in the pram, he disappeared, and he forgot about the child. And later on, his wife had to do some shopping, and she took and she was on the way, and she was passing from the way where this public house was situated, and she discovered the baby sleeping in the pram, and she was quite offended by the behavior of her husband, and she wanted to teach her husband a lesson, and she took the baby with the pram. And when the husband came back home, he did not remember the baby at all, and to the utter shock of the wife, husband said after some time, "Well, my dear, um, what's for lunch today?" Now this example of forgetfulness is, one could say, is the most horrible example, and one would not like to have a person around, or with such an absent mindedness, but uh, leaving such sort of absent mindedness, the other habits of forgetting, or other blunders of forgetting, they could be somewhere they could be excused, while such serious forgetfulness cannot be excused. Thank you.